Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this is against a guy who's always on Delver.
Okay, so we're gonna pretend we
Um,
don't know that.
sure,
Um,
sure. Okay, that's right. Yeah, let's
well,
change
I'll,
it up
I'll just
again.
pretend. So we'll just walk this through high level. Okay.
Okay, so we won the roll, and I'm playing
Sure. I mean,
BalenciagaNBoba's.
there's nothing here that would cause me to throw this back. I mean, the hand is literally whatever you want to make it to be with four cantrips and then a back to basics someday. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. We're obviously we're gonna. This is so like Boba kind of talked about a little bit, but like actually I don't know if he explicitly said it, but it's like you kind of make and break off your cantrips. Like
Yeah.
literally, when you're playing Fair Deck, you have to make literally every card. So he actually shuffles a ton. Um, but yeah, so here is an easy ponder though, right? Because we're literally just trying to find basic islands so that we don't get
Yeah.
wasted.
Or even
Or
your
force
third
will.
land, like Boba was saying, like this deck operates off three. So if you don't have three lands, you're in trouble. Mountain is probably the worst one you could find. Um, I might shuffle this one and take a redraw just because Mountain doesn't advance anything you're doing. Like if they do have Wasteland and they Wasteland your Volk,
Yeah,
and you're stuck drawing these three shitty cards, I don't know. I'd be pretty upset.
yeah, correct. You lose. Another thing we didn't really talk about because you had mentioned like there was a play where you're like, oh, I would have held up like Swords of Plaza instead of Ponder because you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah,
The problem is fire matching everything is so fast now. So it's like you have to know what you're looking for ahead of time. Like for me, I'm pretty sure I hope I shuffled this, but it's like yeah. I mean, I know that I played against this guy like 1,000 times. He's a like a Delver grinder, and so it's like the way I lose against a fair deck. So I basically don't assume I'm against combo game one because the reality is our combo matchup is not very good, especially game one, and it's like post board's better. So I don't try to like shuffle looking for force of will, obviously in the blind, so. I don't want to get wasted here and lose on the spot.
okay, so just shuffle doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Your best draw is probably I was gonna say a blue fetch land, but yeah, okay, guess not.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a pucker here. If you get wastelanded, you're kind of in a hole. And
Yeah, we
okay,
call it, right?
that's what happens. All right, but at least you have a fresh
Like
set of
Delver is
cards.
only a good matchup if you play well. Like it's otherwise it's not.
Damn it. Okay, well, I'm probably pondering in this position, try to set my lands up again. And brainstorm feels like a great way to get locked out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
okay,
We don't want the exact same thing
jackpot.
to
Okay,
happen.
yeah, because at this point
Yeah,
you're relatively convinced this is Delver off a Bauble and a Wasteland. So you
correct.
have one, two, three lands, a Swords of Plowshares. We happy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so what are you stacking here?
Vista bottom, plow middle. Take the island now.
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree. Because if you the trap here would be to put so you obviously you want basic island, right? That's what we've been looking for, the spawner. We know he's on Delver. I'm pretty sure there's literally no other deck realistically that plays that combination of cards. And if there is, they got us, whatever. And then if you put the Vista on top, the problem is you might shuffle away that basic island, and
Yeah.
we want
Yeah.
that because we have like 3 and 4 drops,
Plus,
right?
you have
Like,
two brainstorms sitting in the wings, waiting to do something, and that they get a lot worse if you
correct,
don't have a fetch.
correct. And like, Boba was saying the deck really wants to hit 3 lands.
I mean, yeah, the deck has like nine. If you count Snapcaster, the deck has like nine three drops. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Like,
yeah.
people
And
don't
then that's
count
clearly right.
Snapcaster
You're
as a
not
three
going to
drop, but
brainstorm it.
really it is. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I mean, he's not doing anything. You're developing. You don't even care if he wastelands your Tundra at this point, so it's whatever.
Right. Am I lagging?
Is it about to just like jump forward like four turns again?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
This is in real time here. Let me see. So he fires off that. I think I brainstorm here, and I should.
You should or shouldn't.
Should, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just
What
spend
would
the
you
mana
do?
while you can. I mean, I might just let it go because I like saving my brainstorms for later, especially if I know I have a fetch line coming. But I mean, you're about
So
to
you
have
brain.
three lands, so maybe there's something to be said for just spending your mana efficiently and keeping up or
Yeah, correct.
developing.
And there's also like so we have number one, we have 2 brainstorms, but the biggest reason why is because we know we have fetch land on top, so we can't get brainstorm locked.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Right, so that's the biggest reason why.
You're still saying 2 new cards, which isn't nothing. Okay, this is a pretty cash money one. The only thing I'm not sure about is how sold I am on Back to Basics, because I'm assuming one of these cards is going to get shuffled. Maybe it's Jace, because that's pretty far off. So I might do something like Back to Basics under Jace and accept, or Jace under Back to Basics and accept that Jace is a ways off now, because you're down to 1 land effectively at this point. So Jace is at
Put the
least
back to
pretty
basics on the
reasonable.
bottom.
You put back to basics on? I think I put. I'm trying to remember what I did. I'm like thinking about it now. Like I like back to basics. So I can go tap out, tap out, tap out.
I do too, because I think you can actually play Back to Basics, but
But
Jace is so far
No, you put the
away.
back to basics on the bottom because you don't know what kind of Delver they're on. If they play blue red on the mountain and the island, you lose. So if you put it on
yeah,
the bottom, you can choose not to shuffle, and you can pick it up 1 turn after that. But if you see that they're playing basics, then you can shuffle away. If they
yeah, and
don't
I
play
didn't
any
do that. So I
basics,
did the wrong thing. I put. I think I got greedy at the land.
because you want all 4 lands because you have a Jace in hand, right? So
Oh
that
no, no, I didn't. I put the
because we're
stone.
not gonna because we're not gonna play the Stoneforge on 2. We're gonna play it on turn 3, which means you're gonna play right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of amazed we haven't come under pressure yet, but I mean, okay, sure. All right, so we are playing Stoneforge.
He shows a Volk, so you can play the Stoneforge out because then if he does anything, you play back to basics.
Okay.
So would you have gotten? What do you think about that play?
Me? Well, I guess I don't know if I would have played the Stoneforge out because they think I'm just hereditarily not going to give them anything to daze, but now that we've done it, I think I'm pretty confident that you're not looking at a daze in their hand or they would have done it. So I suppose what could happen this turn, and our best bet is they bolt your Stoneforge with their Volk, play the other Volk or other duel or whatever, play a 1-drop, and now you're looking at a back to basics. They have to Force of Will.
Yeah, I actually respect this play a little bit more than that. I think he has days. I mean, he has no threat. You know, he hasn't really done anything. He has a full grid of cards. I think he has days. I think he's trying to set up Bolt and Days. Like, I think a lot of Stoneblade players would force protect this Stoneforge incorrectly,
I
and then
don't.
you kind of just
They have
lose.
so many bolts, and like, you might have to force something else. I think the first Stoneforge is generally disposable. Like, you just play her and just assume it's gonna die like that.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean, I
there's
pretty much think
some
every Stoneforge is
weird.
disposable, but
Maybe there's some weird situation in combo where you go Stoneforge into Cauldra and like I don't know. Maybe you're playing Doomsday and you just need the gas pedal like right now. But yeah, I
all right.
can't
So he
imagine
didn't have a
forcing it.
Bolt there.
Yeah. Okay. So if this were me, I'm thinking he doesn't have days. Jam this back to basics down his throat and make him deal. But apparently not.
Yeah, I would jam that too. I'm trying to remember what I did. Yeah, right, because this is you win the game right here if he doesn't have. And if you eat a force, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. If he has days, I'll be surprised. Because I would assume that from their point of view, with all these basics they're looking, okay, then I would be surprised.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like I think he's he like I said he's a decent Delver player.
I guess I would have thought from his side of the table you're dazing early and often because with basics it's not like daze is getting any better, right? But okay, so he kept it. I mean here we're just brainstorming pretty clearly.
Right.
Oh hey look another
Oh
one.
shoot. I see what got put back. Did you get that? I think there's another Jace, right?
It's recorded, so
Yeah.
maybe that's like a. I would probably. I mean, you probably want to shuffle to just get that batter skull off the top of your deck, and the lands are untapped, so it's not like a back to basics does anything right now.
Correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Stoneforge.
Stoneforge is just a card advantage shuffle engine. But like kind of what BalenciagaNBoba was saying. Look, I kind of screwed myself over. I don't know if you're here still, but like I gave him a free. Like he was clearly holding up that card, right? Like what else are you doing in Delver if you're not tapping out for a Murktide or something like that, or any sort of threat?
Yeah, because
I
your
kind of
play is a
walked
bit
into
odd
that.
in that we haven't seen like a 1-drop or anything yet. So I guess you should probably know that he has just a pile of reactive spells. Like it's not like he's sandbagging a Delver at this point, right? Or like a DRC. You would have seen it by now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boba, are you there?
I guess he said he would be in and out, so he's out right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm wondering what if he would have if he probably. I mean, we just did a replay where he saw something like that. And he didn't. But it's still fine. We're still ahead. We're still ahead. Obviously, we're not going to brainstorm in response to that. That's how we lose as well. We need this brainstorm to hit a shuffle effect.
Yeah. So he's down to 3 cards.
Look, I mean, look, back to basics is about to like do a bunch of work against
Yeah, I
him,
mean,
right?
I'm kind of smelling. I kind of smell a Murktide Regent turn.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but then again, his graveyard isn't the best for that right now. He's got a couple lands and a. I mean, okay, maybe
And
now
he's in
he's trying
Murktide,
to do
or
it.
is he gonna play this guy? Okay, he's just playing Murktide.
So I mean, now it's just. I mean, he's got 4 cards. Yeah, back to basics. Shove it down his throat.
Correct. Yeah,
Um,
and he has the second force.
yeah, and I mean, look what you made. Okay. Oh, so you're gonna force to protect this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I because look, he did not pitch. He pitched a Murktide, right? Like that's actually a really good spell for him, right?
Yeah.
Like
So
that's usually like
you're
that's how you
smelling
lose.
desperation right now, pretty much.
Yeah. So if he doesn't, I don't think he has days. It's basically what it is. And so I'm willing to expend that brainstorm. And
So
so and we
quick
hit
back batter
force.
skull. Either
Yeah.
swords to plowshares or ending. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Or a Jace, I guess.
And actually, look, he actually has the
Oh,
days. Like that's what I mean. Like I respect this player. He played around that pretty well, and he had a backup Murktide. So this Delver player has kind of had, I would say, the nuts. Right, like he's had whatever you want to call it, but he had a good hand, right? He
yeah,
had
3
two
dazes,
wasteland
3
singers immediately,
forces. But I mean, I guess
three
you kind of
rays.
I guess you kind of expect that based on how he's playing, right? Because like we have seen exactly 0 DRCs, exactly 0
Yeah,
Delvers.
but
So
I still feel good in this spot,
yeah,
right?
I
So
mean,
I have
I'm
guys
not that worried.
here's brainstorm locked, right? So here it's pretty obvious, right? You plow the Murktide. Next turn we're gonna ending the and he drew that off the top, right? Like that's probably his best draw.
Yeah.
I didn't even see what he hit there, but that's he's hitting everything he would ever want to hit, right?
Yeah.
Right, and he doesn't shuffle, right?
So
So
he's
he's got
resetting
more
with his
gas on top,
build your own Murktide Regent for
right?
sure.
So obviously we're doing that, right?
And then next turn it's Jace. If he plays a threat, unsummon it. If not, brainstorm and go to Value Town.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this is
Yeah.
kind of an
See,
interesting position now because I don't know whether I would. I feel like you have to unsummon, but I'm not happy about it either.
and I partially. So what are you doing here? Are you playing Outer
Well,
Skull into Days? Or are you gonna play?
I mean, we've already seen what like 3 days is in his exile
Um,
pile, right? I think I counted 1, 2, 3.
three.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, I could go either way. I could see a Jace unsummon, but the problem is you just hand him more cards and he turns one of them into a bolt that kills your Jace. So I guess now that I've talked it through, I think I'm just playing Batterskull and saying show me because he spent 3 forces, he spent 3 dazes, like, and if he actually goes down to 1 card stopping a Batterskull, I think I'm okay with that. I think I can live in that
Yeah.
world.
So basically, like this is the play that matters, right? This is like people will say Jace sucks, stuff like this. But the if you Jason summon, you put yourself extremely far behind because he's only used one bolt. He's probably gonna bolt it and then replay this. He draws 2 cards and then you got this stuck in hand and you'll probably lose from that point. All he has to do is find a flyer. So this Jace is like a low value Jace, right? Like Jace is a bomb. We want that to be a good Jace. So I'm gonna play the. I hope I play the Battle Skull here, and if he has the days, it's whatever. But I want to have more mana available to use his days. I really don't want to unsummon that. Like that to me, that's a game losing play. And also, this went from what looked like really far ahead to not anymore.
Oh my
He has the
goodness.
last days. Like I can't.
Okay.
I'm not gonna play around that, right? Like if you try to play around that with Jace, what's your line, right? Are you gonna
Yeah, I
brainstorm
understand.
there?
I understand how you got there, but it's like, geez, the 4th day is like running into it again. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think I lose right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was. I mean, he hit really well, but I think the avoidable mistakes there were, I think in hindsight, I don't know if jamming that Stoneforge in the clearly open Seek the Beast mana was the right
So
play.
what would you have done? Just back to
Um,
basics or
No, just
Just
passing.
don't do anything. Okay. Make him
Yeah.
like seek the beast, and then basically, if he flips a Force of Will or a Daze, congratulations, it's a dead card. But because you gave him something to do, because you turned on more cards he could find with Seek the Beast.
He ended up outcarding me, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm the control deck, but he ended up with more cards in hand and killed me.
right. Because if he flips, if you don't play Stoneforge and he seeks the beast, then he flips over Days of Force of Will, and you're not doing anything. Those are all dead draws.
Yes.
Like he can't convert those. So there's a better
Correct.
chance
Yeah.
that his Seek the Beast is like a 2 mana 1 for 1,
Yeah.
basically. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's a debatable one, but I think that's kind of
I can
I
see why
should
you
have
would
put
do
a little
that.
bit more thought into that. And then I could do is just untap, brainstorm in a turn and then slam Stoneforge.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that one. I mean, you ran into 4 dazes and 3 forces.
Yeah, and I still almost got
I
there,
don't
right?
know. Walking away from this game, I don't know if I would be crazy enough to think that there's no Delvers or no Darcys, but to get down to 27 cards and not see one of the 8 1 drops would be interesting to me, to say the least. I don't know how I
Well,
would feel about this.
yeah, I mean, it's clearly Delver, right? There's nothing
He
really,
is. I
really
mean,
else
maybe he's on some
about
like
that.
weird freaking deck, but like it's odd of me to think that 8 of the 27 cards left in his deck are um either Delver or Darcy. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but he has Bobble, right? So it has to be. And the
There was
basic
a,
island confirms that he's not on,
there was a couple
Underground
spots
Sea.
that he could have picked better.
Yeah. What do you think? I didn't know you're there.
So yeah, I'm
Actually,
coming
this
in and
next.
out, but because I have some stuff I'm multitasking and doing right now, so I'm like half paying attention.
Yeah,
But
sure.
to the extent that, do you remember when you were deciding on that really early cantrip, the one that had two? I think it was like land. Was it? Yeah, it was like island fetch,
Yes.
island scalding, and back to basics. And I said you put the back to basics to the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, by putting the back to basics to the bottom, you're basically for sure going to draw 3 lands, possibly the fourth, depending on whether you want to draw that back to basics or not.
Yeah.
So if you did my play, you don't run any of those dazes. You got dazed 3 times and then the fourth,
Fourth.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead, you ran the your first Stoneforge into a daze, but had you just held back and you just start playing out with 1 mana opens over and over and over, he blows forces with blue cards instead of dazing, and so you net a
Yeah.
lot more card advantage that way.
Yeah.
Because you have 3 mana, you play Stoneforge, he has to force, or he lets it resolve, then he bolts it, like that's fine, whatever. Then you play another land, you go up to 4 lands, you play back to basics, that's gonna eat a force for sure. Then you play your fifth land, you play the Jason, he just dies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the
Yeah,
other component to that is like,
he wasn't showing anything. He had no threats,
yeah,
right?
because like I don't think in that matchup, at least up until the point where you played the Stoneforge into the Days Force or whatever, you weren't under threat. You were just making land drops, and he was just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
So I'm beginning to understand the need to play into Days, but like I don't know if I would have played into Days when the other guy is just when the tempo pilot is just sitting there and kind of like saying do something. Um,
Well, I think this
yeah.
the first Stoneforge in the days was fine, but I think it was what else did I throw into days? I threw in the back to basics. I mean, like I said, I got baited into that days, right? Like he played around that pretty well,
He
pitching
did.
the
I will
merchant
admit he hit
forces.
his dazes pretty well because I would have assumed that like you're gonna daze this like Stoneforge, but he
Yeah.
did save the dazes that he had pretty well or hide them, I guess. Okay.
What else did you see? You
I
said
mean, the
there's
main
another.
thing is he wasn't presenting a threat, and a deck or a Delver deck without threats, you don't get dazed. You just sit there back. You sit back all day. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right?
Yeah.
If he's not presenting a threat, he's not presenting a clock. There's no clock. There's no rush, and if there's no rush, you just sit and play around days until you die or they die. Like you're just never
Yeah.
going to get dazed. And if they never get to cast days, they're going to pitch it a force, or it's going to be a dead draw. Either way, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Like there was no need to just run your stuff into days head first.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
All
Let's
right.
let's go to game two. It's getting yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting a little late. I don't want to keep us here forever, but this is really good stuff though.
Oh, and at some point, I think my volume was off, but at some point he had like 2 volcanics, and you played a Stoneforge, and then like he played Seek the Beast, and you got blown out.
Yeah. Okay. That's what we were asking about because I saw that. I'm like, dude, I think Boba wouldn't have ran into that Seek the Beast because he hit a force will off that.
Yeah. Okay. This one I'm borderline. I'm super scared of a wasteland right now, cutting you off all your removal colors, and you don't have a cantrip to dig you out, and you're on the play. But at the same time, you can cast spells, and I don't know if a 6 would be better.
Yeah, I think this is a clear keep. It's not a perfect hand, but we're obviously not going to run out the Tundra first, right? So you have this
Island.
Spell Pierce,
I
and then
could
if you
see a
clear
lot
the
of
turn
worlds
one.
where you don't draw the third land and you are kind of screwed. Because if they have a wasteland, essentially you're gonna have to pick. You're gonna get forked between casting your prismatic ending and your red blast. Would be my main fear.
Sure, but
Yeah.
I think like Boba kind of touched on this before, but like again, this is a Delver player I respect a little bit more, and he should be warning out his wastelands number one.
Okay.
Number two, you really want to avoid mulliganing if you can, but we have so many live draws, right? So we have 19 more lands. We have 8 cantrips, so that's 27.
18.
27. So if this is a
You
one
got two
lander, I don't
lands,
think
so
you keep it,
there's 18 more. But yeah, okay, sure.
right? So yeah, correct. Yeah, 18, sorry.
Okay, yeah, sure.
26, right? So we have 2 draws for 26, or we can hit a Stoneforge or something else. So that's more gas. Or we can hit more removal, right? So if he burns a wasteland on that, which I think is kind of unlikely. Here we go.
Oh, hey, look, there's
All
a
right, so this
DRC
is
I was
what I mean,
wondering if
right?
it
Like,
existed.
I'm hoping he forces this. And he's just like going crazy with his DRC. He's just trying to flip it, right?
Sure, okay. Build the graveyard for Murktide. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so it's plains, prismatic ending. That one's kind of a no-brainer. Pray you don't get wastelanded.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
because of that reason, I pierced there
yeah,
because I
because
didn't see
that
it
makes
find a way.
sense. Because if you pierce that and he dazes, then his next turn is either going to be, if he has the wasteland, he wastes you, but he has no other resources. So his next turn literally is just waste your tundra, and so he's not going to pressure you, which gives you more draws to find something. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's specifically I just didn't want him to ponder for a wasteland, and then I'm not really doing anything right. Like I need to, and then that's a great draw, right? So we're slamming that counterbalance.
Yeah.
I want him to use a force on this.
I mean, are we convinced he doesn't have a daze at this point? Yeah, he probably would have dazed the. Oh, wow.
And then he doesn't hit, right? I drew planes right there, so you can
And
see
then, so
this.
what? He probably brainstorm locked himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And he knows he can't be counterbalanced.
Okay. So game 3.
But the reason why you don't play around days with that counterbalance is like, what else are you doing there, right? Like I'm trying to avoid the scenario where I play around days way too much, and then he is able to cantrip to find a wasteland, and then I die, right? Like that's so I need to do something proactive there. If he dazes it, that's fine because I had no land drops anyways, right?
Well,
So
great.
everything's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
doable.
So this hand's perfect, basically, other than maybe a white's removal spell, but
Yeah, right, and that's what we're gonna look for with this
yeah.
ponder.
I mean, but you have your mana, so yeah. Okay, this is.
Ah, shoot, I didn't see it. Did you see what the other card was?
It's okay. You're taking prismatic ending. I think Coat was the next one on the bottom.
The coat, yeah, but coat we're drawing, and I don't remember the. It probably was like a lander or a Cauldron or something. I think I actually boarded Cauldron out, which probably wasn't right. Because I don't think Boba does that. Okay, so he shuffles, and he missed land drop, right?
Yes.
So we know he has force in hand,
You know he has force of negation in hand. Yes.
right?
I mean,
So I'm gonna walk.
you're still gonna cast it. I mean, you're not gonna not do this.
Correct, like that's a fine trade. That's fine. So I think that's fine.
Okay, so here we don't know what the draw is. Okay, Swords of
Uh,
Flash.
so
Okay,
that,
so
that's
hypothetically, can we pause there? Oh, go. Okay, I know you just plowed that, but hypothetically, if you had to take that turn, let's say you drew a land instead of Swords to Plowshares, are you running to Fairy out?
I would probably run out the coat.
Okay.
Honestly, I could. The reason why is because at that point, so we're pretty far behind. Right? When I have any removal, he has a Delver, and he's playing super aggressively, right? Like he force pitched to protect Delver, which is like his worst creature in the deck.
Yeah.
He hyper flipped the DRC, right? So I would rather play coat into that, so that next turn I can have blue blast with Teferi, so that I can blue blast his pyroblast, presumably bounce his Delver and stabilize.
Okay. Okay, now we're just like now you're living the control dream. You got Snapcaster Mage. You got okay.
Yeah.
So are you gonna do coat? Because I think we mentioned talking about looking at Teferi as a removal spell, and he has
Yeah.
nothing to remove right now. So all he's gonna
Yes.
do is probably flesh out a Pyroblast, or I don't know, cantrip and get rid of a lightning bolt from their hand. If you minus,
Yes. I mean, he doesn't have threats, right? So
yeah.
he can have Murktide, he can have Brazen Borrower, but he probably has a bunch of counter magic. I think like 9 out of 10 times he has Blast here, so I should run this coat into Pyroblast so that I can actually resolve Teferi, because Teferi will win the game, right?
And coat, like we said in an earlier match, it's not here, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
we
care
said
about
coat
that, right?
basically doesn't matter in this matchup. Everything flies and is going to
Yeah.
chunk you for like 8 at a time. There's not really like a small ball ground game you're interested in playing.
Oh, shoot.
It's okay.
Um,
I saw it
so
fast enough. You're building towards a
yeah.
Jace. So basically you're going to Teferi, blue blast or red blast. Yeah.
Yeah, now the game's over, right? Like he has to blast that. And we blast back.
Yeah. Days.
And then he has double days, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what he's telling you. I mean this is ultimately still fine.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he doesn't? Oh yeah, okay, there's a second.
Yeah, so he does, right? So he has 2 lands.
Two lands. So he has one
And
actual piece of cardboard, which is DRC.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, so you're just gonna do Batter Skull? Whoa. Wait, what? Oh, he had an unknown draw step. Wait.
Yeah, so he had 2 unknowns, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he has two lands, right? Now
I must
he
be doing
doesn't.
just bad accounting in my head. Okay.
No, he hard casted 1 days and then he put 1 back. I'm sorry. So he had 2 unknowns.
Oh, that's where the missing card came from. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he had 2 land in hands. Like, whoa, how's that happening? Okay.
Yeah, I think there's an argument there to play like Snapcaster this, but this
Cloud or even just
stabilizes so hard.
or even Jace. I'm really sad about losing Batterskull in these matchups because it's literally the only way your deck has to go up in life. So now you're very much locked into just a straight up race in quotes. Although I would say it's not just the creatures on board because you can clear it. It's the bolts that I'm also worried about because bolts are at 11 life can get pretty scary if they find enough of them, but they are hellbent, so like they are gonna have to find them. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so the reason is yeah. I mean, life is one thing, but we are a control deck, and we actually have stuff. And we're not just got control, right? So we actually have clocks. We have ways to stabilize. We have back to basics, counterbalance, Teferi's, Narcissus, like all these things that like will eat bolts, right? Jace is going to eat a bolt, so I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is so I want to protect this Jace, right? I didn't want it just to eat it, like to bounce and then eat a bolt. I was worried about Pyroblast, so I didn't want to do Snapcaster, eat a Pyroblast. I think there was a line I considered, which would be, and this might be the big brain, like kind of BalenciagaNBoba line, but like try to flesh it. So you have 6 lands, right? So play the Snapcaster, see if it eats that Pyroblast, and then you have 4 mana to play Jason Unsummon. Because it's pretty unlikely he has days at that point.
I don't know. I would still think that at 11 you're more interested in actually just removing the thing because you can still die to a 3/3 pretty quick if you're not careful from where you're at.
So I feel pretty far ahead right here.
At this point, yeah, you're gonna hit for 3.
The only thing I'm scared about is a Pyroblast, but I just got that covered by drawing the second Snapcaster, so I don't care.
Right. So you're probably just removing it. Oh, yeah, Blue Blast days.
Sure. Yeah, and actually Blue Blasted there because I was more scared about a Murktide, but that's also kind of wrong because I have Jace too. So that's I mean I don't know if it matters.
Yeah,
probably better to leave.
You want the most targets available for Snap. I
mean, yeah. I think you should leave. I actually think you should leave the Blue Blast in hand or in the graveyard so I could snap it back later to protect a Jace or to hit a Seek the Beast because Seek the Beast is how he'll come back.
Pretty unlikely for him to have it. I mean, he's also living off the top, so. Yeah, okay,
right,
so
and then we jam Jason. Right, he's not going to try and like bolt me out because I have it. But actually, the correct play I think was to because then if he has a Pyroblast, I can snap Blue Blast that instead. So that was wrong. I should have allowed that to happen and not be scared of Murktide because I have a Jace to summon that. The only scary things are Pyroblasts at this point.
Okay. Okay. Maybe we'll go through that one last match and then we'll call it a night.
Yeah,
we've been at this for a while. This is absolutely fantastic, though. Wow.
cool.
Okay. So there's what?
I think this is
I know a lot of
this
people
is
struggle against combo, so I am curious because Delver is. If you ask people what Stoneblade's quote unquote best matchup is, they might say something along the lines of Delver, just because you have basic planes, a pile of white removal, and then more shit out of the side. Okay, well, yeah, this hand's a keep. First of all, in the dark, you keep it. There's no reason to throw it back. Ponder finds a third land. Snaps to something, whatever that is, one day, and you have Stoneforge.
yeah.
Okay, so what are we pondering for here? Because I know that we mentioned this is a 3-land deck, and we have 3 lands in hand, and we're pondering kind of in the dark. So I don't really even know what we're looking for, I guess is my question.
So I mean I played against this guy. I know he's on Doomsday or Storm, so I would like to find Force Wall, but I'm pretty much just gonna take anything that's functional at this point because I don't know what I'm playing against. I don't want to hold on to that Ponder because if he I don't know if he I mean if he is a combo deck, then it doesn't matter, right? Like I gave up my chance to find Force of Will. The only if he's a blue black tempo, well then if I hold on this Ponder, then I'm walking right into a Orcish Bowmasters, right?
Okay.
And the reality is next turn I'm going to play Stoneforge anyways. I already have a curve here, so holding onto the Ponders is like I'm losing a lot there. Like I'm not going to. I don't have time to cast that Ponder later on.
Okay, because you're gonna get your curve is 1, 2, 3. So okay.
Correct.
So you take swords because it's something to do, and I think there was a ponder beneath that, and then the land under that.
There's a
That you
land, I
keep.
think. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I thought he was on like blue black.
Undercity sewers could be anything. I mean, at this point, so much the for is
Yeah.
blue black. So
Right. Right. So he runs
still could be
ones.
anything. I'm iffy about running out Stoneforge. I mean, maybe you do it just to flush out a daze, but I think it falls back to that same spot in my head again where I'm not under pressure to do anything, and I'm arguably the bigger deck, so I'm not gonna.
So
God.
yeah, and feel free to if you're around Boba whenever you are, but that I am fairly confident he's on combo. He could be on the one thing I'd be screwed on would be like if he's on Reanimator,
Yeah,
right? If
because
he has like
this
Entomb and
looks like a
Reanimate.
turn that could go end step Entomb, next turn
Yeah.
Reanimate. In which case, you definitely want to force a will either way. Now that I think about it.
So actually, I went for Stoneforge because, like I said, I think he's on Doomsday. I'm pretty sure I have Stoneforge, but I want to put some pressure on him. If he dazes that, that's totally fine with me. Like I don't really care about that Stoneforge. I'd
Yeah, he's
rather
one
that
off
eat
a
a daze
Doomsday then,
than
because
like
Doomsday
Teferi.
is 3 black. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you're winding up for Stoneforge here.
Right. So he has to respect that, right? If I get Kaldra, he's a black deck. Like he doesn't have removal. Like he has to respect that.
He might have sacrifice, but yeah, if he's in
Sure, but
if he's
then
in
he uses his
Doomsday,
turn.
yeah, once that Cauldron's there, it's sticking around.
Right?
The only question is if he
My
can
other
get the job
thought
done.
was that if he's playing blue black Reanimator, maybe he gets scared and he gets not Atraxa, but he gets Archon instead, which I can deal with. Like that's a 1-for-1 or not or 2-for-1 or whatever. It's like that's not that bad. If he gets Atraxa, he probably will lose. So
If it were me,
so
I'm thinking more like blue black Reanimator because Tamio, I don't know, screams more mid range to me than combo. But okay, well now we're
it's his pedal, right, to confirm that. So and this is like, I mean, I'm not going to go on too much of a high horse about Tamio, but I don't think Tamio is that good in like combo decks or control decks because it's just like a 1-for-1. So I don't really care that it's flipped, right? He has to do something, so he has to awkwardly play this Asa's Oracle
because he's a combo
and
deck. I
block
mean,
with.
now he's kind of going all in to protect this Tamio like he's a grindy deck almost.
Correct, which isn't gonna work, right? Like we have Cauldra, so I think what he's trying to do is chump block here. My Cauldra only gets in for one, so he gets one activation of Tamu off, but he used a bunch of cards to
And
do
he's
that.
doing all this work
Again,
to buy back what his best card is probably a brain. I mean, his only choice is a brainstorm.
right? So he's trying to buy more time to get Doomsday online, right? So I mean that's fine, but I'm not scared about this at all, right? I have all these dead plows are now
I mean, hell,
active because
you could even just plow the thoughts and just kill it outright. Yeah,
correct, yeah, that's what I
Tundra,
do.
off to the races you go.
right? And so he used a bunch of resources. He used a Lotus Petal for that. He used a Thassa's Oracle for that. Like he burnt his whole turn trying to land and protect the Daimyo. All right, so oops. Oh man, did you catch that at all?
It just flickered by. That one probably didn't get caught, but it's okay.
Yeah, sorry. The question is, are you going to
Plow the Tamio. Um,
yeah. So I shuffled. I think I was looking for Force of Will there because I feel pretty good. I just want to find Force.
honestly, like I might. I mean, we've already seen 2 brainstorms, so statistically speaking, it's not that likely he has another one. I mean, and beyond
So
that, like honestly, I'm okay either way. Like if he burns a brainstorm now when it's not a perfect brainstorm with a fetch land, to flip a Tamio that like doesn't matter and is gonna die in your next in the phase that's just about to happen, like so be it. Like because Tamio's getting gone either way. Like
exactly,
he's either gonna die
exactly.
to the plow or he's gonna die to the cauldron attack. So yeah, I'm
Exactly.
okay
I
with
just
that.
don't care about this Tameo is wasted resources for him, right? So he's activating all these things. So we hit the Force Well. I feel pretty good here. I'm gonna put. I should put back one of these and then put back.
Maybe
I'll probably
Teferi on
put back
top. Yeah.
Teferi. So I can hide Teferi
I thought C's
from a
Mercy.
whatchamacallit, from a no I didn't. I put 2 of these in him. But to hide it from a
I thought C's
duress
effect. Yeah,
effect, right?
duress. I mean, okay.
Let's see if we can go a little slower here. Alright, so he's pondering. He ponders and chooses not to shuffle. I think there was a reason I should have probably brainstormed at the end of turn because I've been tapping into Force of Will and to Fairy. And then that helps me find my land drop. So this Teferi kind of ends it for him because now he has to have and Disruption and Doomsday and win the same turn because I'm about to kill him, right? He has 1 turn to do all that, which is pretty unlikely for him to do.
Yeah, and this is pretty much
Right,
it.
so he's gonna Doomsday and then I force it, right? So that way I don't want to mess around with like a
You don't want to
Thassa's
get cute,
Oracle.
let him build a pile and have him find some way
No, so
somehow.
I actually didn't look if he played a land yet, but the problem is if you do that and he builds a cavern hand with a bunch of cyclers,
Yeah.
right? So if he like let's say he goes brainstorm and then he gets like one, you can do 1 Street Wrath and then like 2. Sometimes they play 2 Edge of Bottoms, and then he plays a Thassa's Oracle with cavern. Then I actually lost a game that I shouldn't have lost. Right now he's done. He can't get enough
Yeah,
resources to
he's
fire
leaving
off.
for at this point. He's just trying to do something. Okay. So
Yeah,
that's game 1. Okay, so this is a combo game gone wrong, presumably.
yeah, and
So let's see.
here's how to say it. So obviously the Red Blast and the Consigned Memories.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has Tamios, I actually kept in a couple, and then sometimes they'll run Orcish Bowmasters on the side, which would kind of suck. So I left in a couple
Plows just for
plows.
okay.
Um, if he was like on a super combo turbo version with no creatures, I might play Surgical, but that's like
Like
it's
towards
kind
a
of
little
whatever.
bit
And then I cut Stoneforge and a Battle Scroll.
because he's not going to kill Stoneforger, so it's not like you really only need 1 to get Cauldron, and then you just go from there.
Or coat. Yeah. This is a really good hand.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of wish
I'm
you had
sure
put a
most.
blue card with it, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
certainly not
yeah,
anything you can throw back.
yeah. Yeah, I think I just right. And so here's another as a play here. So you could have played. We should talk about that play, but you could have played Vista, keep open, plow for we saw Tamio. You could play Basic Island. The reason I played this is because I know he's not playing Wasteland because he's Doomsday deck, and I want him to be a little bit think twice about Pyroblast.
Yeah.
So if he goes for the combo, he might be a little bit more like less inclined to like not pitch a daze, thinking them in like Pyroblast or something like that. But
I mean, yeah,
it gives you a
technically
little bit more
Prismatic
options.
Vista bluffs Mountain, but like getting actual Mountain is pretty horrific for you if that's what you have to do.
Yeah, and so okay, and so even if he Tamio brainstorms here, like he's probably not going to do that because I'm representing Pyroblast, right? And so this is great because he just activated my my trap card here, and then so he goes to fetch there. I didn't plow right away because I had saw the Surveil land game one, and I knew he was holding on to that, the Surveil land. So I was gonna let him surveil. It's a little bit greedy to do that, but I was gonna wait for him to surveil land first, and then let him make a choice with that information, and then go ahead and then fetch and plow right here. And I
So what
like,
does Lotus Petal tell you, if anything?
I mean, to me that means like he's not going for it this turn,
Okay.
or it's just a bad draw because they don't need to go super fast against us. They have a lot of like they should sculpt to get protection.
Okay.
So that,
Oh,
to me that means he's trying to find protection.
okay. And here's another creature. It's
Yeah, this
kind
is
of a pain in
weird.
the butt, but you got Snap, so good thing you left plows in, right?
Correct, yeah. And we already know that the end of this game because I lost, right? There's a game three, but I actually think I lost to this card, but I still don't think it's wrong to, obviously, what if you force a will and then pitch spell pierce, and you're kind of opening yourself up
I
to
would, if
doomsday.
I
So
were
I'm
to
okay
force
taking
this, I would
it, right?
force pitch Snap, but I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we have the answer right here, right? So
I would probably
I
go for
might.
Stoneforge here.
Okay.
Um, then you'd have Spell Pierce Force open, which is 2 layers of protection. I feel pretty good. And then just keep it up, and then maybe like a turn or two down the road, you snap plow. Although to Mitchell's point, if we're gonna play to not lose, Voidwalker could reasonably kill you, and it makes your any spell you cast more of a liability. So maybe the correct play is to just keep your mana up and snap plow. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. In hindsight, I maybe I should play Stoneforge, but I actually went for the Snapcaster. The reason is because if I play Stoneforge and I get Cauldra, then he can actually like Thoughtseize, take my Cauldra, cast it for free, and then I'm fighting over my own spell. But I think in hindsight, what I should have done was Stoneforge, get Cryptic Coat. But I think I went for the Plowhair because at the time I was like, well, I have Jace lined up the turn afterwards. But yeah, that was. Again, I'm curious whenever Boba comes back, what he would have done there because I walked right into the days.
I mean, you had to know that going into it. Like that shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, so again, that's my misplay there. I probably could have been a little bit more conservative, and then I can hold up 2 layers of protection against.
Okay, now we have to force and will that. This is just getting out of
Yeah,
hand. And then
and
what
then
next turn
here
is
I'm gonna.
Jason summon? I feel like you're kind of priced in. Oh, Lavinia. Okay.
I played Lavinia first because Lavinia stops.
Days,
I was a little bit
forces,
worried
yeah.
about specifically him forcing my Jace and then playing it for free next turn. Like I lose if that's the case, right? Like that's not good. So I played Lavinia first, and that might be the play not to lose.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my line of thinking, and it obviously doesn't pay off. But I think he had everything he wanted here, so it didn't really matter. So he has a fatal push, which is kind of weird he brought that in, but that's fine.
3 blue out of a what is this,
So he's playing a
stun?
Murktide,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So he ends up killing me with that. Right now I'm dead. I have to hit a brainstorm and find 2 pieces of removal because I'm kind of dead on the stack. Um, all right, so I play the Jace, try and bounce this, and he has a force of will, so I die.
So yeah, okay.
Great. Yeah, I'm deterministically dead unless I hit brainstorm, so I can find 2 pieces of removal, which would have to specifically be Pyroblast and a plow or something, because I don't have double white.
Yeah.
So unless I hit
It's a long
brainstorm.
ask. Yeah, okay. And you don't get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. So that right, I'm dead there. So the misplay there was probably um, not playing that Stoneforge first, and then snap plowing it. I honestly, the reason I did it is because I didn't think he's gonna play this many creatures. I've like can count on one hand, one finger the amount of times I've actually lost the beatdown Doomsday because I don't think it's a very like good strategy. But whatever, it happens. He had double Voidwalker and then the Murktide, so
Okay.
I'm okay losing to that.
So I'm assuming with this game you adjusted your sideboard to have more plows, or are you trying to next level and say, maybe he takes the creatures out, so I load up, my deck with bad plows now.
Yeah, I don't think I made any changes, and the reason is because I already have a ton of answers to creatures in my deck. I'm not too concerned. And if he goes for a creature, so I took the stance that he kind of got lucky that he hit what was that Days Force Will plus pitch card, Voidwalker, Murktide, right? Like he played the Delver game, that's fine, but he's still playing stuff like Lotus Petal, so his deck is kind of doing two things mediocrely, and so being on the play this time, I'm not worried about that game plan because I have so many ways to beat creatures between my planeswalkers. I have Teferis, I have Plows, I have Jaces, I have Stoneforges to win combat, so it's not really super concerning to me. I think that if I overboard into Plows, that's like how I lose.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't make any changes. I could have played the Batter Skull if I wanted to,
I
but
don't know.
I
If
don't
I
think.
had seen that many, I think I would have brought in at least another plow or two because I don't know. Having seen that many void walkers, it's yeah, okay.
But you don't need to, right? Like I have Teferi, I have Jace, I have Swords of Plowshares, I have Counter Magic. The
There
way
it
you
is.
lose is
Jace just doing
Doomsday.
everything again, huh? Annoying when he does
So yeah,
Yeah.
I
that.
think you saw you opened the sideboard for a second, right? I think you boarded wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, what would you then? For the creature version, would you play another Plow?
If he was, you now know he's got a ton of features, so you
You would
would
bring
put
this.
in. You need both
I was just saying I
plows.
had like the fairies and Jaces and stuff. Like I don't like he played Delphi Voidwalker and a Murktide.
You have to keep the two plows. You have to play all
You would
four
just
of them.
okay.
Yeah, and
You
then
would
you
you
would
got Stoneforge, another Stoneforge or something?
no, you drop all the blasts.
You drop all the blasts. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because the blast only hits cantrips and Murktide,
Yeah.
right?
And
But
Force
plow
Wills.
hits every Murktide as well, but then it hits the Void Walker and also
Yeah.
hits the Tameo as well.
And
And
okay.
then it also keeps them from doing fast piles without a cavern on zero pile, basically,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
slows them down. So
Do you
and
do
it's
you
better
have
on your it's
Surgical?
no, unless they play the what is it called? The
Like the
the blue
Turbo one?
card. The blue card
Or
that
the
puts the Doomsday on top.
personal tutor? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so you would have to have checked games that you have let him resolve Doomsday and check their graveyard. You always do that when you win, even when you win or lose games 1 and 2 or whatnot. And if they have
Yeah.
it, then you play surgical. If they don't, you don't play surgical.
Yeah.
But he's shown you enough creatures that you need plows because there's also a non-zero chance. They have bowmasters and they have barrel goys as well. So you
Yeah.
need every plow in existence and you need to drop the blast because the blast don't hit
And
anything.
So
And then on top
yeah.
of that, it messes up your mana base like really badly because you
let,
don't
let
want
me
to
ask,
fetch red.
let me ask this. Sometimes I keep surgicals in almost regardless as a way to scramble their doomsday pile once they
Not
make it,
worth it.
and not worth it.
No,
Okay.
not in this deck. I mean, maybe if you're playing Maverick or some other deck that like has no better card to do it with, but like we have better things to do than paying 2 life to shuffle their deck. Like it's not good enough.
In a card, right?
Because I kind of
Yeah.
thought that once after they go off doomsday, if you have a threat, all you might need is another turn or two, and you can get that if you just
Yeah, it's
put
not worth
whatever
it.
pile is
There's
in the
better
back.
cards to put
No.
in. You have Consigns, you have Lavinia, you have like a bunch of other stuff. It's actually ever since Consign was printed, this matchup's been really easy.
Okay.
Boba, what do you think the land to play is here?
The land you play off this is Scalding Tarn.
You play Tarn.
Yeah, because the prismatic vista represents a virtual white. Technically, it shouldn't even represent a red because it should have no blast. But because you have blast, then the prismatic
Yeah.
represents a mountain and a plains. The scalding needs to be an island because you have back to
Mhm.
basics. The tundra's getting shuffled away.
Yeah, I think I played that wrong. I think I played the Tundra. Yeah,
Yeah, because now it messes with your back to basics.
correct.
And see
Yeah.
how like you haven't even drawn the blast yet, but it messes up your mana base because you have to anticipate possibly drawing it and fucks your shit up. You just want to play blue white against them.
These are pretty good cards. Uh, what are you
I think I
talking?
wow.
You should probably put Narset to the bottom, and then you should put a Flower to Fairy to the top.
Are you
Mm.
putting Narset to the bottom because you don't want to draw, or because she's that good?
Not because she's that good.
Okay, all right. Just to clarify, all right.
You want to draw her for turn 3 or something.
Yeah, you want to play it later.
Okay. Because Narset makes it so that basically even if they do combo, it's going to take them forever to get through because they can't draw more than one a turn. Okay.
Yeah, and that was probably wrong too to do that there. Oh no, sorry, I take that back. I did that because I was maybe I was gonna use Plow. That way I can untap him. If I lose a card, I wanted to lose Lavinia, not Narset.
Oh yeah, in game two, I briefly saw it. You were supposed to play Stoneforge Mystic because you have to threaten their life.
Yeah,
If you trade
instead of
life back and forth, you trade not only faster, but you cut off their doomsday plan because they
and
cut
then
their
if
life
you
in half and you die on the back. They die on the backswing. If they somehow, on the off chance, take a card from your hand with the Voidwalker, they have to take the Jace because if they take Culture, you unsummon it, and then they lose their Voidwalker for a Culture that gets unsummoned. So they have to take the Jace, which had a body on the field, so you can still handle it. And that's
mm,
still on the off chance that they do that. It's just better to play
yes,
Stoneforged and then play the Plow app the turn after.
if they thought seized you, would you force protect that?
The
Your call, or
Jace.
you just let them have it and then Jace?
I don't remember what the rest of the hand was.
It was Snapcaster, Force, Spell Pierce, Jace, and then
Well, I mean, if I could pierce it, then I could pierce it. But if not, then I'll let them have it. If they take the Jace, then you can Snapcaster Ambush Viper, and it's like doesn't matter.
oh, jeez, oh, that was bad. Anyway, sorry.
So
Wow.
here, I might be tempted to go for a back to basics, if not for the fact I'm looking at 6 cards, probably one of which is Days. So Lavinia seems like the most reasonable choice, I guess.
You definitely Lavinia here.
Okay.
If you play Lavinia here, if they have any amount of force of will, they have to play it. And any date, they're now dead. And then you can simply follow it up next turn with back to basics or Nars.
They
If they
did
play
show
a
us
third
Fatal
if
Push
they play
last
a
turn,
third
but
land
yeah.
and then they Doomsday, you back to basics or you Narset them and they die. If they play a creature, you end step Plow. Again, they can't daze, they can't force. So you have to play Lavinia here.
What is
Yeah,
this?
so
A
they
Doomsday?
Doomsday. So you just untap, play back to basics, and they die. Or you untap back and you Narset depending on what their pile's like and what your draw step is like.
I thought she was going
Because they have no acceleration because they can't play Lotus Petals or LEDs out to Lavinia, which like slows them down. So here you probably just play back to basics. Because they can't
correct.
Lotus Petal, they cannot kill you. The most they can have is one single mana, right? He fucked up on that days, but even if he didn't, like his lands are locked down. He plays one land and he has pass turn. He can't Lotus Petal. He can't do anything interesting. Then you Narset and kill him. The Narset should
He
theoretically
just
find
wanted,
you a consign to close out.
Oh, yeah, he
yeah,
cast
he
the
just
Jays,
wanted to go his
not realizing Lavinia. Okay, yeah.
No, he he
Or
he
no, he
he
did it
tanked on that.
purposely, just wanting the land back. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah,
No, he
yeah.
wanted the land back.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, so at this point, it's attack and then Narset and just try to bury him that way, right?
Correct.
I can't imagine it's any other.
I wanted to find Consigner Blaster, or something for Thassa's Oracle. And then this slows down his pile. All right, so he can't win next turn
It
with.
cuts down,
That
cuts down
game
1/2.
over.
Yeah, game is done here.
Nice cavern. To Narset again. Yeah, red blast. Okay, this is game. I mean, you cast Dress Down at the end of your turn, and that's it, right? I mean, it's got to be.
I don't know. I would actually wait because if he has a way to, because now I turned on all the spells, but I don't think it matters. I think he's dead. Like he could maybe like Brazen Borrow here, but now he can't.
I mean, if he Brazen Borrows, then he definitely can't do anything because he spent his last 2 mana. Right?
This is what I'm saying. I know with the finding the Pyroblast, right? Like I think that to me that was the only way he could win is if he had a Brazen Borrow, balance this, untap, do everything he wanted to do.
Yeah, all right.
Right, like if he could, because he has fatal. We saw fatal push, so he'd have to fatal push. That's his Oracle and have a force.
Either way, it's a tall ask. Like he would have to line things up pretty perfectly, and you would have to be pretty careless. Okay, cool. Oh wow! All right, we've been at this for a while. Hey, that was really great. Thanks, both of you. That was a lot of time. I learned a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to help. And like I said, like I mean, I feel like I only did 80 to 90% of the plays at most of what Boba was doing. We talked about a few of them he chimed in on when he was able to be at the computer. But like it's a really hard deck to play. It's super rewarding. But cards like Jace, hope you saw the power of that today, like versus anything else.
No.
Why I don't play Tamio, whatever other stuff, but yeah, I mean we saw Jace destroy a tempo deck too, so
Okay.
yeah, glad this was fun. Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks for doing it too. Thanks for making it happen.
Yeah. So